The story opens in the middle of World War II. Saito, a Japanese businessman, is being sent back to Japan with other prisoners. They will be used as forced labor. Saito is kept alone, away from the rest. 2 guards take him to the ship's commander. The commander looks at Saito with pure hatred. He spits words at him. "A traitor to your country, there is no forgiveness for that. Death is too easy for you. What you have done deserves worse." Saito stands silent and afraid. Then more prisoners are brought in. Among them is a man named Bronson from Britain. Bronson hates the Japanese with all his heart. He curses them, and his eyes burn with anger. The commander smiles cruelly and makes a plan. From now on, those 2 will be chained together. The guards fasten heavy shackles around their legs and link them. Bronson begs, "Kill me. Just don't chain me with a Japanese." Nobody listens. The chain clinks and their fate seems decided. Then everything explodes into chaos. Enemy fighters attack the ship. Guards and prisoners fight and scream. In the confusion, Saito and Bronson fight their way out. Bullets fly, men shout, and a submarine appears, firing a missile close by. The ship trembles and breaks. In the captain's cabin, only the commander and the 2 prisoners remain. The commander draws his gun to finish them. Bronson acts without thinking. He grabs Saito and both leap into the sea. They plunge into cold, dark water as the ship blows apart behind them. Hours of swimming and drifting follow. Bronson, bleeding and exhausted, drags Saito to a remote, lonely island. Saito collapses on the sand, unconscious. When Saito wakes the next morning, he hopes it was all a bad dream. But the heavy shackle on his leg proves it real. He tries to wake Bronson, but Bronson lies still, knocked out. A dead soldier washes ashore nearby. Saito takes the soldier's gun. For a moment, a dark thought crosses his mind: kill Bronson and be free. He lifts the gun. At that instant Bronson wakes and attacks. They fight hard, their anger and distrust sparking blows. They struggle near the edge of the water until a strange, terrible scream rises from the sea. Bronson shoves Saito toward the water. Saito bleeds from his injured leg. The scent of blood draws something from the waves. A monstrous creature explodes out of the water, fast as lightning, sharp claws, a mouth full of teeth. It lunges at Bronson and rips at him. Bronson screams. Saito, terrified, takes aim with the soldier's gun and fires, not at Bronson but at the monster. The bullet hits. The creature roars, drops its grip, and disappears into the surf. Bronson is hurt but alive. The 2 men stare at each other, breathing, covered in sweat and blood. Their old hatred suddenly seems small compared to the island's danger. In that moment they make a truce. They will survive together or die together. They move away from the beach to find shelter and food. Language sits between them like a wall. Bronson speaks English, Saito speaks Japanese. They try to talk, but only simple words pass. Bronson asks what the thing was. Saito only nods and pretends to understand. His face shows he knows more than he says. They search the shore. Bronson finds a cigarette pack and holds it out. Saito refuses. His eyes are empty with loss. Bronson then finds the body of a young soldier who was his comrade. He collapses and cries, grief spilling out. Saito watches quietly, feeling a painful sympathy he cannot speak. Saito gives Bronson water to drink. They gather more things washed ashore and make a rough camp for the night. That night, Bronson tries to put on shoes, but the chain makes it painful. Saito realizes he has taken a dead soldier's big leather shoe and gives it to Bronson. Bronson refuses to touch any Japanese thing. Pride and hate still burn inside him. Saito catches crabs and offers one to Bronson. At first Bronson refuses, then he takes it, hesitant. The crab falls in the sand. Saito picks it up and gives it to him again. Slowly Bronson eats. The first time they share food, a small bridge of trust forms. Bronson tells parts of his story. Saito learns his name. Words are few, but the gesture of sharing means more. Days pass and they try to free themselves from the chains. Bronson fashions a crude tool out of driftwood and metal. He hammers at the heavy link but fails. Saito studies the chain and points to a narrow spot where the metal looks weak. Bronson hesitates. Saito encourages him with a look, and Bronson strikes twice. The metal bends. Now Saito takes the makeshift tool and, though exhausted, hits the link with a single determined blow. The chain breaks. Bronson shouts with relief and cheers. Saito laughs once, short, surprised, and then both men celebrate, clapping each other on the back. Their voices carry across the sand and wake something hidden nearby. Footsteps in the dark show the hunter is watching. The creature slips away like shadow. Later, while tracking footprints in the sand, they see other people, 2 Japanese soldiers with another prisoner. Bronson freezes, thinking Saito will betray him. Saito surprises him. He hands Bronson the gun and tells him to hide. Saito approaches the soldiers and speaks to them in Japanese. He tells them they must not shoot. The soldiers listen. They already assume Saito is one of their own. Saito lies, says he was alone, says no other survivors remain. He is brave now not to protect himself but to protect Bronson. Behind him the island groans and roars. The soldiers go to search. One soldier, curious, walks toward the place where Bronson hides. The creature strikes from the shadows, tearing the soldier apart. Blood sprays. Scream after scream shatters the quiet. Panic spreads among the soldiers. In the chaos, a prisoner turned on the soldiers and begs for mercy and fear as the creature shows itself to be not human, an animal and something else at once. More slaughter happens. The two men watch in horror from a hiding place. They decide to run. They flee into the thick jungle. The creature chases them, faster than they imagined, crossing rough land and broken roots. Bronson trips on a slope and slides down, hurting himself. The creature catches up and mauls him. Saito, seeing his old enemy crushed by pain, forgets their past and attacks the creature with a makeshift spear, pulling Bronson free. They tumble down a rocky hill and land in a shallow pool, gasping. The next morning their injuries ache. Saito pulls a splinter of sharp wood out of his chest with a scream, bleeding. Bronson clings to a rotten wooden plank that hangs over a waterfall and then falls into the water, barely surviving. The island's river carries them apart for a time. Alone, Bronson wanders along the riverbank, frightened, until he sees the monster kill a crocodile in a sudden violent burst. The creature tears the crocodile apart and drags it away. Bronson realizes the creature is intelligent enough to hunt and use the environment. Saito, on his side of the river, stumbles into a terrible sight, a dead man tied to a tree. He falls into a shallow pit, where he finds a severed head of the same kind of creature. This tells him two things: these monsters have been here for a long time, and men have tried to fight them. In the dead man's hand Saito finds a pistol and several empty shells, enough proof that the man died fighting. Saito takes the katana stuck in the sand and the pistol. He feels a strange steadiness. He will hunt now. He is no longer only a businessman. Survival makes a warrior. Eventually both reach parts of the island littered with debris from a wrecked plane. Inside the plane, they find useful things: flares, a lighter, a flare gun, spare metal. Bronson, practical and angry, builds a crude weapon from scraps and discovers a bomb lodged in the plane wing. He shows it to Saito and says in broken English that he can use this to destroy the nest of the creatures. Saito nods, knowing the risk. They cannot carry on with constant attacks. They agree on one desperate plan: take the bomb into the cave where the creatures breed and blow up the eggs. If they destroy the young, maybe the mothers will weaken or leave. They move carefully through brush toward a cave where the monster's scent is strongest. Near the cave entrance they find a nest, large eggs piled and keenly guarded. Bronson's hands shake as he tries to arm the bomb. The trigger is stuck. Saito stands at the entrance watching the surrounding jungle like a hawk. He knows once they start, there may be no turning back. Bronson fumbles with wires and metal and finally loosens a latch. He tries to set a timer but fails. Saito tells him to hurry. The sound of the creature's movement grows near. Suddenly out of the dark a large female leaps at them, furious and protective. It is bigger than the ones they have seen, more vicious. The two men fight with everything they have. Saito slashes with the katana, Bronson smashes with the crude hammer. They manage to push the monster aside long enough for Bronson to get the bomb into position near the eggs. Bronson yells that he will light the fuse. Saito says no, he will stay behind to guard the exit. Bronson protests. They can both run, but Saito insists. He will not leave the other behind. The bomb finally detonates in a monstrous burst. Fire and heat swallow the cave. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And for more awesome movie recaps, make sure to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.